Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, Tennessee, Alabama. Not only one of the biggest games that we're going to see this weekend, I would go out and argue this could be one of the bigger games that we see across college football of 2025. Legitimate college football playoff implications, legitimate SEC title implications on the line. And we've already done our preview and prediction episode, but this game and what fascinates me about this football game, it feels like it's going to come down to matchups. What are the certain talent advantages that both of these teams have going into this matchup? Who has more talent on their roster, and where are those talent advantages? Might be the biggest storyline that we're going to see in this football game. And quite frankly, I think it starts at this quarterback battle. And Ty Simpson's been getting a lot of love, and rightfully so, right? He's been one of, if not the best quarterbacks that we've seen in the country to start 2025. Why are we not talking about Joey Aguilar more at Tennessee? This Tennessee offense with Joey is meaningfully better than what it was in 2024. And I'll ask even the Alabama fans, who I know follow this sport pretty damn closely, what quarterback in this conference, outside of Ty, who is probably the number one quarterback in this conference right now, outside of Ty Simpson, how many quarterbacks are you taking over Joey Aguilar? Because the answer is either not many or flat out none. Joey Aguilar's been really, really good for Tennessee, and he's bringing certain elements to this offense that Nico did not provide for Tennessee in 2024. Very excited to get into this. I think the offensive line discussion is a very fun one to have as well. Before we get into it, as always, Tennessee fans, Alabama fans, let it fly in the comment section. By far, the best part about doing this is hearing from you guys, having y'all go at it in the comment section. Appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And excuse me, let's start with the quarterback position. You have to go with Ty Simpson because this kid's been so damn sharp the last couple of weeks. And here's the big storyline. I could list you the box score stats. I mean, 71% completion percentage, 1,600 passing yards, 16 touchdowns to 1 interception. This is the storyline of this football game. How much time does Ty Simpson have to operate in this game? Because if there's one knock, Ty Simpson is taking over 3 seconds to get the football out of his hands. He's not exactly a very quick release kind of guy. This Tennessee pass rush that is currently sacking the quarterback 10.2% of the time and really turned it up against a quality. And I know Arkansas was able to put some points up on the board, but that pass rush was legit against one of the better offensive lines in the SEC. Say what you want about Arkansas. That offensive line can block. Who wins that battle? And I guess the biggest conversation is, look, if Ty Simpson has time, you feel like he's going to get after this Tennessee secondary that is still dealing with a lot of injuries. And look, Colton Hood's been really damn good for Tennessee. Outside of Colton Hood, how many guys in the back end do you trust for Tennessee? And what makes Alabama special is, all right, you can use Colton Hood to take away a guy like Ryan Williams. You got Jeremy Bernard. You got Isaiah Horton. You got a guy like Lottie Brooks as well. To me, the biggest storyline here in terms of Tennessee stopping this Alabama offense, how good can that Tennessee pass rush be? We're going to get to the Tennessee defensive line. I've been really impressed. As they've gotten healthier, they are starting to rip it up, specifically in the pass rush department. Then you look at Joey Aguilar, and there's 2 things that I really like. One, the turnovers I know he has 5 interceptions on the year. Go back and watch those interceptions. I don't know how many are on Joey Aguilar. The decision making has been much better than a lot of people expected it to be coming from App State and UCLA. And we kind of projected that because Josh Heupel is going to make it easy. He's going to dial up the throws, and it's going to be an easy job at the quarterback spot. The throws will be there. And Joey Aguilar has been making a lot of high caliber throws. 2 things that stand out that Nico did not provide. Number one, when Joey Aguilar has the chance to beat you vertically down the field, he's making those throws. Nico just missed way too many of them last year. The other thing is, especially in this kind of football game, Joey Aguilar, a 4.3 pressure to sack percentage. What I mean by that is when he is facing pressure, he's only taking a sack 4.3% of the time. The ball is getting out, and he is extending plays and getting himself out of trouble. Another thing that Nico was flat out miserable in at times in 2024. When you play these big games against a team like Alabama, especially on the road, when you look at it, you got to say it ain't going to be perfect. Do we have a quarterback that can extend, that can get the ball out quick, that can make things happen when it's not perfect for him in the pocket? Joey Aguilar has been really damn good in those situations. Two of the best quarterbacks in this conference going head to head. I lean Ty Simpson because I think Ty Simpson's been really good, and this offensive line's been protecting him a little bit better the last couple of weeks. But you make no mistake about it. If you can impact Ty Simpson in the pocket, that's really the only avenue I see for Tennessee having success on the defensive side of the football. Running back room. This is heavy towards Tennessee. I mean, Deshaun Bishop's been awesome. Star Thomas has been much better than I thought he would be for Tennessee. For Alabama, this is the biggest question mark you have about this football team going forward, especially in this conference. You want to have the ability to run the football. And I'm not saying it has to be the identity of Alabama's offense because, quite frankly, that'd be foolish. You got such a good quarterback. You got such good pass catchers. You want to be throwing the football, but you can't be one-dimensional. Jed Miller's questionable in this game. Outside of that, I mean, and outside of that, how many running backs in this Alabama running back room do we trust? You're not sure. I mean, Deshaun Bishop and Star Thomas have combined for over 35 missed tackles forced on the year. The leading missed tackle force guy for Alabama is Ty Simpson with 8 at the quarterback spot. You lean Tennessee's running backs here. Wide receiver spot, I think Tennessee's wide receivers have been better than last year. You've seen some development, not only from Chris Brazzell, but also the young cats in this room, but been a little bit more inconsistent than I think a lot of Tennessee fans would like. You still, I mean, Joey Aguilar has a 12.6% drop ratio. That is still a little bit too high. Alabama, you got 4 guys that are dynamite, right? Ryan Williams, Isaiah Horton, Jeremy Bernard. The emergence of Lottie Brooks has been absolutely amazing for Alabama. One of the biggest matchups that you love if you're an Alabama fan is, can this Tennessee secondary run with all of our different threats on the outside? They got one really good cat in Colton Hood. You're not really sure what else you trust in this Tennessee secondary room. Offensive line. Probably the second biggest story. Hey, well, what offensive line is going to be better in this game? And I think Alabama's got their plate full. I thought they were solid against a very good Missouri pass rush. Can they be solid against the Tennessee pass rush that, I will say this, is probably more dynamic? Now, Missouri has 2 really, really talented cats, and Damon Wilson and Zion Young. Tennessee's got just more weapons. I don't know if they have a guy that's as good as Damon Wilson, but they got a lot of guys who can rip it up. You look at Alabama's offensive line, I'm concerned about that right tackle position. Wilcom Formby's just been a roller coaster. I think he's been better than last year. He still hasn't been super reliable. You've been sprinkling in a guy like Michael Carroll. My biggest issue with Alabama's offensive line is, man, it just feels like musical chairs, right? We're just a lot of different guys getting cycled in. And I think that's, I guess I'll say it like this. In this point of the season, I would like to see a better feel of who your best 5 are. You know, you've had a half a season to figure out who your best 5 is. We got to start putting that out more consistently instead of rotating the amount of bodies we are rotating on the offensive line. I look at Tennessee, man. Tennessee's offensive line is, it's better than last year, right? I don't think that's a hot take. Tennessee's been able to run the football just as good, if not better, than last year. And you're replacing a guy like Dylan Sampson, but at the same time, massive step in the right direction in pass protection, which really bit Tennessee in the ass last year. I mean, Tennessee on the offensive line last year, they could move bodies off the line of scrimmage, no question about that. When they had to drop back and throw in conference play, the pass protection was shoddy. And Jesse Perry's been awesome at right tackle. You're sprinkling in a little David Sanders. You got 2 true freshmen that will be playing a lot of right tackle in this football game. What freshman plays better? Certainly a storyline. I love what I've seen from this Tennessee offensive line. I'm taking Tennessee's offensive line in this football game, especially when you factor in these 2 defensive lines. If I'm an Alabama fan, I'm encouraged, right? early in the year, it felt like we weren't getting enough difference making play from our front seven. We're starting to see that go in the right direction. I think most notably LT Overton. London Simmons as a true freshman has gotten active. I think Yanza Pierre is starting to flash a little bit as well. But I look at Tennessee, especially as they've gotten back healthy, it's so many different guys that can make it happen. I mean, Josh Josephs has a 25% pass rush win rate. I mean, you look at how about Jordan Ross? I mean, Jordan Ross is starting to rip coming off the edge. Tyree West has been a guy you can lean on. Getting David Hobbs back has been massive for the depth of this Tennessee defensive line in the middle of that unit. Here's the funny conversation is you probably lean Alabama at quarterback. Not probably, you lean Alabama at quarterback. You lean Alabama at the wide receiver position, but I think you might lean Tennessee when it comes to line of scrimmage play. Now, how big is that gap? And am I even right? I might be wrong. Alabama might be the better line of scrimmage team, but right now I think I favor Tennessee's offensive line and Tennessee's defensive line going up against Alabama. As you work back into the back end of this defense, I think you significantly favor Alabama. This secondary, man, I really like what you're seeing. I mean, you're injecting a guy like Dejon Lee, who I think is probably going to start over Damani Jackson. He's been better than Damani Jackson to start 2025. And you look at Tennessee and say, just with the injuries that they've dealt with, it's hard to have a ton of confidence in this unit going up against one of the best wide receiver rooms in the country. And so it kind of gets down to the pick here is, what do you trust Alabama in the skill that they have on the outside, which I think is a clear edge, or do you trust Tennessee in potentially the edge that they have along the lines of scrimmage? And again, I might just be flat out wrong. From what I've seen and what the numbers are telling me, I'm leaning Tennessee along the lines of scrimmage. This is a game where if you're an Alabama fan, even if you win this game, you're going to get a real sense of just how dangerous this football team can be because you're going up against a very good line of scrimmage team. We got to give Josh Heupel a ton of credit. When he took over at Tennessee, he knew damn well that this program wasn't there along the lines of scrimmage. What has allowed Tennessee to take that step within this conference, what they've done recruiting these bodies along the lines of scrimmage, is Tennessee there? Can Tennessee win this game along the lines of scrimmage? That's going to tell us a lot about where Tennessee is a program. And it's going to tell us a lot for Alabama too, because if you go and you win the lines of scrimmage in this game, you're winning this football game. Ain't no question about it. And if you win this football game and win the lines of scrimmage, you're looking at Alabama and saying that this team can win a national championship. In fact, they might be my pick to win the national championship. Really, really fun game. Really fun set of matchups that we're going to see. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.